Hi, this is Kathi Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Well, I got questions on how do we create a crazy patch block in Quilt. So we're going to look at that right now. So if I wanted to create a block from scratch, and I'm going to use the Total Quilter, I'm going to come in here, and the first thing I want to do is decide the size of my block. And in order to do that, I'm going to come in and I'm going to go to a rectangle, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle on screen with my artwork tool by left mouse clicking on it. Now that I've got this, I'm going to come right over to my properties and left mouse click on the word transform. Now in here, I'm going to make this about a 6 by 6 block. Now I could make this a border and make it, a 2 by 4, whatever, but we're just going to create a block. Now that I have this, I'm going to fit to screen. So this is just an artwork block, and all I've actually done is give myself something to copy. Now I want to create the crazy patch block, but I want to use Quilt to fill it in. So I'm going to come up into my purple icons, and right here it says create Quilt block. So if you want to create your own, whether it's crazy patch or anything else, this is where we're going to go to create it. So I'm going to left mouse click on this tool, and basically I'm just going to trace this block. So now I've got a 6 by 6 block. Now without doing anything else yet, I'm going to hold my left mouse key and I'm going to start dividing this up to be a crazy quilt block. So I'm going to left mouse click right barely outside this line. Left mouse click. Now I'm going to come down. Left mouse click. Now I'm going to hit enter. It's very critical. Now I'm going to hit enter. So now it's going to allow me to draw another line. So I am dividing this block up. Enter. We're just going to come here and we're going to continue to create places in this block, enter, so I can have a crazy patch. And I think I'm going to come here, and I think that's plenty of places for you to understand. Now I'm going to hit enter. Now you see I have all these different places to put my fabric for crazy patch. Now that I have got all my lines and I've divided this block up, once I'm sure, I'm going to right mouse click. Now it has created my block. Now it's hard to tell because everything has gone gray. So now we're going to get specific. I'm going to come here to my select tool and I'm going to select this piece, and notice I get a yellow outline. That's telling me I have selected this block of fabric. So I'm going to go into my fabric, and I downloaded some grunge fabrics. I think they're kind of cool looking, so we're going to use those today. I'm going to put yellow in there. Now I'm going to select another block, and I'm going to continue this till I fill in all my blocks here with fabric. Now you don't have to, it would still divide it up, but I really like having the visual of what I've done. So I'm just going to go in here, and each time I'm going to add a fabric. So here we go, just left mouse click OK, select another piece, left mouse click on fabric, get you a fabric, say OK, left mouse click, go to fabric, select a fabric, say OK, and now here's my last piece. Okay, so now we have all of our fabrics in here for our crazy patch block. Now I wouldn't have had to select any to download fabrics, but anything that's already in your folder you can use, because we're just kind of dividing this up so that we can tell. Now what I need to do is put in my decorative stitches, my binding stitches. So now I'm going to left mouse click on the stitch line. Now notice it's highlighted the stitch line now. So now that I've done that, I'm going to come down here. Notice at the bottom I've got a run stitch, and here's my run motif. That's what I'm going to select. So I'm going to left mouse click on that. Now that I've done that, I have the option, to come in here and select what I want. Do I want binding motifs? Do I want crazy quilting stitches? So let's go there and look at that. Because after all, this is a crazy quilt. So now we're going to come in here and we're going to pick the stitch we want. I'm going to select this, apply. If I don't like the size, of course, I can change that. And I can come in here and start selecting these. Now, when I'm creating my own block, remember, none of this has been created for you. You come in here, put your fabrics, and you select your lines, and you add your stitches. So we're going to come in. I'm going to go ahead and go back, excuse me, to crazy quilting. Let's drop down. Let's pick another crazy quilt stitch. Again, I'm probably going to change the size of this. Apply. That one's still too big. The nice thing is I can rescale these stitches and not ever worry. I'm going to select another line. Now I could actually make every one of these lines different, or I could select them all by holding down my control key and creating them all the same. Now, of course, in crazy quilting, we know we want lots of different stitches. That's the point of crazy quilt. So let's just come in here and continue to play with this. Ooh, those are way too big for me. So you get the idea. We're just going to play here until we're happy with what we've got. And I'm not going to get too specific on picking these stitches. You'll go in and pick exactly what you want and how you want it to look. And I think, have I picked all the lines? I think I have picked every line in here. So now that I have this done, what we can do is we can come in. Now this was just a piece of artwork. This first square, if you look over here in the sequence view, it wasn't anything for me except the guide to draw that 6-inch block. So I really don't need it, so I'm just going to delete that. But now I have my block here. I have selected it. Now it's going to allow me to export the Quilt block. So I'm going to left mouse click on this. We're going to name this Crazy Patch. And I'm going to put this together with traditional seam allowance of 1/4 inch. I do want my SVG files because I would like to use my digital cutter to cut this out. So now that I've got all this down, I'm going to export. Now that I've done that, it has created all my files for me. So let's see what we have. Let's get a new piece of paper. Let's come over to our library. Now it has already made me an Quilt tab on its own. We're going to Crazy Patch, and now I'm going to go into my Designs folder. So now you'll see what we have. These are our WAF stitches in case I didn't like any of them. I could bring that file in and just change that without recreating the block. Now all of these that you see here are our crazy quilt pieces, and let me show you when I bring them in. They show me the fabric that I wanted to use. So this makes it really easy for me to have my cutter cut the fabric. But the cool one is the last file in here. And this is my Crazy Patch block. So let's see what it does for us. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to come in here and create all these sections so I can lay my fabrics down. So I will have pre-cut my fabrics, and I use a digital cutter such as a Scan and Cut, Cameo, Silhouette, any of your cutters. Now I'm going to peel stick, peel stick, peel stick, and stick all my fabric pieces down in here. Once they're all in here kissing, I'm now going to finish off all my decorative stitching. So that, and then it has done my 1/4 inch seam allowance. So that is how we create a Crazy Patch block for a crazy quilt in my Total Quilter. I hope you've enjoyed this week's lesson. I look forward to seeing you next week. And I want to encourage you to please go to my new progressive classroom where I've got complete lessons from the software all the way through finishing the project, and you're in my sewing room with me. The first project is up and it is totally free. You don't need to put in any credit card information or anything to download my flower wall hanging, or floral wall hanging, excuse me. So please look at the Progressive Classroom, download the free lesson, and enjoy. If you like it, I invite you to join my Progressive Classroom and spend some time with me every month in my sewing room. I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Have a great week.